students, welcome to the online session for the subject of industrial safety. These are the virtual classes for the subject of industrial safety. The subject of industrial safety is mainly for the students of civil engineering, particularly structural engineering and mechanical engineering. So here we will be discussing all the topics that are related to the subject of industrial safety. So now we will be starting with our session. So 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hello students, welcome to our session of the industrial safety. Here we are having the online session of industrial safety subject. This subject is of the branch of structural engineering and mechanical engineering. And basically we have already started our sessions regarding industrial safety, and we have already completed some topics. And previously we had fourth session where we have discussed the various topics which are required in the G2 syllabus, and that was covered. And basically we are in the module 1. So yes, we will be proceeding towards our subject. So further topics will be discussed in today's session. Okay. So yes, we will be proceeding to our session. So basically we are dealing with the silent point of the Factories Act 1948 for the health and safety. Previously also we had done the some points regarding the Factories Act 1948, where basically health and safety and welfare is basically the main points of the Factories Act. Means basically it is for the development of the workers. Okay, so what are the points that is required are being described in the Factories Act 1948. So in this session we will be dealing with the health. The health topic in 1948 Factories Act will be discussed in today's session. Yes, so basically the contents are dust and fumes, architectural humidifications, overcrowding, lighting, drinking water, latrine and urinals, spittoons. So these are the contents that is required for the welfare and development and safety of the workers in the industries is being discussed in today's session. Dust and fumes, that is section number 14. In factory in which manufacturing process is carried out, there may be given off any dust or fumes. Means we can say that where the factories where the manufacturing process is being done, there is an obvious thing of occurrence of the dust and fumes because of the working of the furnaces, because of the working of many of the equipments. Smoke will be formed, the dust will be formed because of the manufacturing process. So it is obvious that obviously the dust and the fumes will be formed in a manufacturing industry. Its inhabitation by workers in any workroom is injurious or offensive to the workers. So that dust fume that is being caused because of the manufacturing of the uh, whatever the requirement is, means because of the manufacturing of the product of the industry, the smoke will be developed, and that smoke is very much injurious to the person who is working over there. So it is injurious and offensive for the employed workers. He should not inhale or he should not come in contact with such kind of harmful gases. So in order to prevent this point of origin of the dust, fumes or other impurity shall be enclosed as far as possible. This dust should be enclosed as far as possible. So it should not be reached to the lungs or to the body or to the nose or inhalation to the person or the workers. On the other hand, in many factories, no stationary internal combustion engine shall be operated unless the exhaust is conducted into the open air, and no other internal combustion engine shall be operated in any room unless offensive measures have been taken to prevent such accumulations of the fumes there from, as they are likely to be injurious to workers employed in the. So basically, proper precautions is required to be taken so that it should not be harmful to the workers. That point is required to be taken care in section 14 where dust and fumes are discussed. Artificial humidification, section number 15. In respect to all the factories in which the humidity of air is artificially increased, the state government may make rules. The rules that are made by the state government will be: first, prescribing standards of humidification. Certain standards is described. Second is regulating the method used for artificially increasing the humidity of the air. And the third is directing prescribed test for determining the humidity of the air to be correctly carried out and recorded. So the whatever the humidity is there in the air, that is required to be recorded, measured. Then next is uh, prescribing method is required to be adopted for securing the adequate ventilation and cooling of the air in the workroom. Proper ventilation is required to be taken, provided. The water used for the purpose shall be taken from the public supply or other source of the drinking water, or shall be effectively purified before it is used. So whatever the water from wherever the source they are taking off, it is required to be purified. Okay. But if the water that is used is not purified, it means some conditions might arrive that that is not availability of the purification system. Then he may serve on the manager the factory in order in writing. Okay, it should be served to the factory manager in writing. Yes, specifying the measures which, in his opinion, should be adopted and requiring them to be carried out before the specified date. So obviously, the water should be taken, some specified opinion should be made so that the water should be purified before before carried out on the specified date. Next is overcrowding, that is in section number 60. The overcrowding affects the workmen not only in the discharge of the duties but also in their health. Means obviously wherever there is an overcrowding, it is very much harmful because it creates congestion and the it will not create a healthy environment to the workers working in the factory. A worker working space should be 9.9 cubic meter of the space per worker in the workroom before the commencement of this act. After this commencement of this act, the space per worker is 14.2 cubic meter. This what changes have occurred after the commencement of this act. Lightning, that is section number 17 in 1948 Factories Act. The Factories Act make the following provision in this respect. There shall be provided and maintained sufficient and suitable lighting, natural or artificial or both, in every part of the factory. Means there should be proper lightning, luminous in the overall factory. Okay. In every factory, all glazed windows and skylights should be used, and workrooms shall be kept clean on both inner and outer surface. In every factory, effective provisions, so as far as practicable, be made for the prevention of the glare, either directly from the source of light or by reflection from smooth or polished. The state government prescribed the standard of sufficient and suitable lighting for the factories of any class of description of factories or for any manufacturing process. So these are all the things that is required to be made. There should be proper lighting, luminous in the area of the factory. Then there should be properly glazed and skylights. Such kind of windows is required to be provided so that the natural light can be utilized. Then effective provision should be made. Means prevention of the glare should be made. Glare should not be come into the glare should there should not be any kind of glare in the industry. Okay. So these are sufficient rules that is required for the proper lighting in the factory. Next is drinking water, the very much important drinking water. The provision in this act, and yes, first of all, I want to tell you that it is section number 18 in Factories Act 1948. The provision in this act under the factories are: first, arrangement shall be made to provide and maintain sufficient supply to wholesome drinking water. Means proper provision of the drinking water should be made. Point should be marked as drinking water in the language understood by the workers. Means whatever the language that is being understood by the workers, in that language, the drinking water should be written over the source. It should be situated within the 6 meter of any washing, urinals, latrines, or spittoons. So it should be very much near, around 6 meters from any water closet or the urinal or the latrine. Provision shall be made for cooling water during the hot weather by effective means and for distribution thereof in every factory, wherein more than 250 workers are ordinarily employed. Examine as prescribed by the authorities of the supply and distribution of the drinking water in the factories. So these are all the acts that is been related to the drinking water. Latrine and urinals. So it is given in section number 19 of Factories Act 1948. The Factories Act makes following provisions in this respect. First is sufficient latrines and urinals accommodation of the prescribed type shall be provided and conveniently situated to them. Means proper type of urinals and latrines are required to be provided at the convenient distance and convenient location, accessible to the workers at all the time while they are at the factory. Means while they are working, it can be easily accessible to them. Such kind of locations is required to be selected for the latrines and urinals. Next is separated enclosed accommodation shall be provided for male and female workers, and there should be adequately lighted and ventilated. So this means that a separate urinals and water closets for male and the female workers is required to be provided, and those uh, urinals and double closets, water closets should be properly, adequately lighted and ventilated. So there should not be any kind of suffocation or congestion in the latrine and urinals. They should be maintained clean and sanitary condition at all the times. I mean, it should be uh, clean every time. Regularly, it should be cleaned so that a proper hygiene is maintained. That will be obviously helpful for the health of the worker, whether it is a male or a female. Sweepers should be employed whose primary duty should be to keep latrines, urinals, and washing surface clean. Okay. Where there are females are employed, there should be at least one latrine for every 25 females. So for females, there should be one latrine for 25 females. Where the males are employed, there should be at least one latrine for every 25 males. So for every 25 males and for every 25 females, there should be one urinal. Okay. Provided that where the number of the males exceed 100, it should be sufficient if there is one latrine for 25 males of two first 100 and for every 50 thereafter. Okay. So means when the number exceeds 100, one latrine should be provided for every 25 males, and on further increasing by 50, another latrine is required to be provided. In calculating the number of the latrines required under this rule, any odd number of workers less than 25 to 50, as in case, shall be reckoned 25 or 50. Urinal accommodation. Urinal accommodation shall be provided for the use of male workers and shall not be less than 2 feet in length for over 50 males provided. That where the number of the males employed 500. It should be sufficient if there is one urinal for every 50 males up to the first 500 employed and one for every 100 thereafter. In calculating the urinals accommodations, required number of the rules maybe odd number of workers less than 50 or 800. In any case, maybe shall be reckoned as 50 or 100. But in factory where more than 200 or 50 workers are ordinarily employed, there all the latrines and the urinals accommodation shall be prescribed sanitary types. Okay. The floors and the internal walls up to the height of 90 centimeter, the unit sanitary blocks shall be laid in a glazed tiles and or a smooth polished impervious surface. Third, latrine and urinal should be thoroughly washed and cleaned at least once in every 7 days with suitable detergent or disinfectant or with both. The state government may prescribe the number of the latrines and urinals to be provided in any factory in proportion to the number of the males and female workers ordinarily employed therein. There's spittoons. Next is spittoons. Section number 20. There spittoons are prescribed. There shall be provided sufficient number of spittoons in convenient places and they shall be maintained in a clean and hygienic condition. The state government should make rules prescribing the type and the number of the spittoons that is required to be provided and the location in any factory. So these are all the terms that is required to the health is given in the uh, Factories Act 1940. Thank you for attending the session. I will be meeting you in the next session. Thank you.
Hello students, so hereby we are coming to the end of our virtual class session of the subject of industrial safety. We have discussed a lot regarding the topics of the today's session. So if you have any kind of a doubts, if you have any kind of queries, you can send me your doubts and queries via mail. My mail ID will be in my channel. So check into my channel, like it and mail me whatever the doubts you have. And thanks again for attending the session. See you in the next session.